First, let's prep the pumpkins. So let's remove the stems by just pulling them from the pumpkin, and we will reattach them later. So first, I spray painted all of the pumpkins a basic white. Once they dried completely, I lightly sprayed the pumpkins with a green spray paint, kind of like an overspray. And I did this by layering light dustings of the green paint and let it dry in between. This part really didn't take very long. Once they're completely dry, then we can reattach the pumpkin stems, which I had painted with a silver nickel spray paint and oversprayed with the green spray paint. Next, we're going to prep the styrofoam ball. So take a length of floral wire that is about double the length of the styrofoam ball and fold it in half. Now, if your styrofoam is soft enough, you can pierce through with the floral wire and just pull it to the other side. My styrofoam ball was pretty dense, and so I took an upholstery needle and pierced through the ball to create a little tunnel, and then I push floral wire through to the other side with the folded edge. So when that folded edge comes out the other side, just twist it to create a loop, and that's what you'll hang your pumpkin ball from. Then on the other side, you've got two little tails of the excess floral wire. Just take each one of those tails, fold it around the edge of the pumpkin ball, and just stick it into the side of the ball. And that is sufficient to anchor that floral wire into the styrofoam ball. Now is the really fun part. We get to glue the pumpkins onto the styrofoam ball. There really is no set pattern for gluing the pumpkins. However, I find it helps to kind of group the pumpkins in groups of 3, keeping in mind that a succulent will go in the center, in between those, filling in that gap. So to attach the pumpkins to the ball, you just use hot glue. Put some hot glue on the bottom of each pumpkin and stick to the styrofoam ball. You want to hold this in place until it is set. Every once in a while, I needed to glue a leaf to a pumpkin to keep the succulent anchored. Once the pumpkins and succulents are glued to the ball, you will notice there are still nooks and crannies, so fill those with moss. A little bit of hot glue is all you need to attach the moss and fill those spaces, and just stuff the moss in and fill those spots. I think this was my favorite part of the project because I can really see what the ball is going to look like when it's finished. Finally, tie a ribbon to the wire loop that you made earlier on, and you now have a beautiful pumpkin ball that is ready for hanging. I have used this hanging from our front porch. I tried it hanging from a shepherd's hook in the backyard, and might even have it hanging from our back door. I hope you enjoy making this pumpkin ball. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Missy with Sonata Home Design, and I'll see you next time.
So, I'm just going to use a ton of hot glue. If I can figure out the glue gun, that would be like fantastic. Alright guys, so here's what I've done. I have the biggest pine cone, medium pine cones going around it. We're going to fill it in, don't worry. And then I'm going to try to put the smaller ones as we go up to the top. All I'm doing is seeing if they'll fit and gluing them on. Fun fact though, if you take the bottom layer off, it's going to make it easier to fit onto your ball without having a problem. You can use scissors or just peel it off, whatever you need to do. Glue straight onto your styrofoam. Super simple, easy peasy. Hold it on, fill it up until you get to the top, but don't do the top until you add the ribbon. So let's show you that. All right, so here we have so far. I promise this is gonna look better when we do some filler items in here. You're not gonna be able to see that. Anyway, we've gotten to the top. Before you put the pine cones on the top, you gotta add a string so you can hang it, and then the pine cones will just go over top. It may be a better idea to wrap this around the whole ball or adhere it with something a little more than hot glue, but we're gonna try with the hot glue. And then we're gonna finish putting the pine cones on the rest of it. I think it looks pretty good. I think at the top, we're gonna add the smaller ones. All right, so here we go, pine cones, tinier ones on top. They actually came on these guys, and then the bigger ones on bottom. So it kind of creates a little bit of like a, I don't know, waterfall, something, I can't, yeah, anyway. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add things in it, and then we're gonna flock it. So I cut these down. I just cut them off. Use a pair of scissors, little tiny. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. Put them in, add some hot glue, stick them anywhere that you see a space. So if there's a space or you can see some sort of part of the ball or something you want to cover up, you can add these in. You can add something else in. I don't know if you guys have some cool ideas. You can add berries. I'm gonna add these in. So I think I'm just gonna place some of these and then I'm gonna glue them after I kind of get a feel for what I want where. I trimmed them down significantly, but you can make them stick out really far if you'd rather. I think I'm gonna add a bunch. Like I really wanna fill this in and make it more full. All right, it's looking more full. I was not as optimistic as I am now, to be honest, when I started this. Anyway, you guys, if you find a bigger space, like say this one, you can put more than one in and it still looks fuller. Look at this, I'm so excited with how this is turning out. All right, so now that we have kind of finished this, I'm going to flock it before I add these guys. So flocking is, you make it look like it has snow on it. So I don't wanna get the snow on these because these are like crystal-y. So I'm gonna teach you guys. It's really easy, guys. All right, let's do it. All right, so now we're gonna flock, which means it make it look like it snowed. You need cheap acrylic paint or basically any kind of paint, a sponge brush, and then fake snow, which can be like sand or something white, like a white powdery. And then if you wanna add like a glitter, like actual glitter or like the glitter flakes, whatever you wanna do. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of dry brush it. Put your paint on, grab your sponge brush. You can do this with a regular brush too, it's just easier. Tap it a whole bunch. Go to town without being too crazy, but do it in like sections. And the white is gonna be like pretty stark at first. If you want to use like a ivory or something of that nature. Don't try to like coat the whole thing. Just dab it on as if it had snowed. While it's still wet, you want to do this in sections. Grab your sand. Oh, this is going to be so messy, y'all. Sprinkle it on the top. And then the glitter. I hope that this glitter works. And then it'll stick to it. You can also, if you want it to stick more, add a little bit of glue, like watered down glue on a paintbrush. Ta-da! It worked. Okay. I'm gonna do another section. You can probably use just paint if you want to. Maybe contrast like a little bit of different white color in there. Oh, I love the way that the sparkles. What am I saying? Ta-da! All right, let's finish it. Guys, look at this. It's flocked. I think it looks super cool, super simple. Remember, dab, don't smear. I love the way this turned out. Now I want to add something else. I think this would look super cool with berries. I went with like a white stem because I flocked it, so I figured white on white. Some people will just like stick the whole thing in and make it look all big and grand. I'm a more like a, I don't know, minimal girl. So I took these off. You can just buy beads actually, I guess, inside the stems if you wanted to. Or you can have a whole stem stick out, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to add glitter to mine and pop them up anywhere I see a space that a little bead can fit. Super simple. I think these might look super cute, like stuck up in the back behind also, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, I'm just going to fill these in. Stick the little wire into the styrofoam, add some hot glue. Easy peasy. If you wanted to flock these, you totally could too. Maybe flock the berries. I just burnt the poop out of myself with my glue. Ouch. All right, let's finish this up. All right, just guys, here it is. I love the way this turned out. A couple tips for you. Make sure to get your little glue strings, if there are any, out of the way before you continue with your flocking and your painting, because it can get a little bit messy. But anyway, I super love the way this turned out. It might look super awesome with something, you know, shoved up here. I can't wait to see what everyone comes up with. Anyway, let me get you guys in close so you can see a nice close shot. All right, guys, that is it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching Home Talk.